Fantasy football fam, what's going on? This is Fantasy Football AF, and I'm your host, Mitchell Renz. I got some awesome stuff on tap for today, so let's crack open this bad boy and let's get the show on the road. I got fantasy football draft advice, and I got draft tips because, well, guys, sometimes all you need is a tip, maybe two, if you're really into that kind of thing. So the way that I really want to make this show just run and just be awesome is I want to give you guys as much information as possible and just so you guys can dominate your fantasy league. And the way you're going to do that is with some awesome draft advice. The first one I got coming up here for you guys is focus on opportunities, right? Opportunities lead to fantasy points. It's really as simple as that. Look for guys who are going to get touches. Look for guys who are going to get targets. Guess what? If a guy's getting 120 targets on a season compared to a guy who's only going to get 80 targets, he's probably going to score more fantasy points. Opportunity is king in fantasy football, and that's something I really want you guys to think about. The next one I got for you guys, wait on quarterback. Wait to draft a quarterback. How long? Longer than that SIP took, but quarterback this year is super deep, right? Stock up on running backs. Stock up on wide receivers early in the draft to build depth, and then you're going to be one of those last teams to draft a quarterback. And because I want you guys to draft a quarterback late, I got 5 guys that you need to keep in mind. 5 guys, 5 quarterbacks that you need to keep on tap at all times. And when you're drafting, these are the guys that I want you to target, okay? They're ultimately like super reliable guys, right? Like if Phillip Rivers is there. Phillip Rivers right now is quarterback 12 in drafts. If I don't get Phillip Rivers, I'm going to try to get a guy like Matt Ryan. If I miss on a guy like Matt Ryan, I'm going to go for Derek Carr, who was an MVP candidate in 2016. If I miss on him, next guy I like to target is Dak Prescott, who, let's not forget, was quarterback 3 with a guy like Ezekiel Elliott. And then you're going to look at a guy like Marcus Mariota, who has legs for days, and the guy can run. And sure, he didn't have the greatest year last year, but I think he's going to have a lot better year this year. So again, 5 quarterback draft targets for 2018. Also, when you're talking about quarterbacks and you guys want to talk about targeting, if you guys ever want to win big on FanDuel, you need to find people late in your draft, right? And FanDuel is the #1 place to play fantasy football because, well, I play there. And if you guys think that you can beat me, bring it for one. But I want you guys to go to FanDuel.com. You have to go to FanDuel.com/chatsports. $20 for free with your first deposit. So if you put in $5, you're going to get $25. Guess how much if you put 10 in? 30. Math is simple. Fantasy football is simple. Head over to FanDuel.com/chatsports. Okay, next one I got for you guys coming up on the board here for draft advice and tips. Always find value. You have to find value in life and in anything in general, and especially fantasy football. Never reach for a player based on ADP. Like, you wouldn't go out with a girl who you think is a 6 and you think you're a 9. Maybe it's just 6'9". Maybe you're into that. Know your league's mates. You need to know what they're thinking, right? If you have a Cowboys fan, he might take Cowboys players earlier. Maybe that's the reason why you don't target a guy because, well, they're going to take him earlier. Stay away from that guy. Do tier-based drafting. I talk about it on an earlier episode. Go on to YouTube, Fantasy Football AF tier-based drafting to hear about that one, right? You're going to be able to find value. It's important. Always find value in fantasy football drafts. Let me take a sip. And we're going to get into the next one here. Next one. If you ain't first, you're last. And it's my man, Ricky Bobby, #1 right there, right? So I want you to think about this. I want you to take a breakout player who you think, sure, is it risky? Of course. But those are the guys how you're going to win your league, right? Like the guys like an Alvin Kamara. I understand like a lot of people didn't think he was going to break out, but taking him later on in the draft is how you're going to win. You need to take chances because if you're just going to be average, I don't play for 6th place. I don't play for 2nd place. I play for 1st place. And in fantasy football, take chances. And then again, wait on players in the draft to get great values because that's ultimately how you're going to end up winning, getting great values. Okay, the next tip I got for you guys, and this one might be the most important. It's draft players that you like. Fantasy football is meant to be fun. Let's make fantasy fun again, right? Shouldn't have said that. But fantasy football is all about being fun, right? So I met a guy, and he's like, I hate Odell Beckham, and I drafted him. Why? Why would you draft him? You should cheer for guys that you like. Take players who you want to root for, because ultimately I want to be sitting there on Sunday drinking a beer and be like, hell yeah, that's the guy that I wanted. So make fantasy football fun. Draft guys you like. It's going to be way more satisfying. I can promise you 100%. And now, here are my draft advice and tips for you guys for this year. So focus on opportunities. Wait to draft a quarterback. Always find value. Always. take chances, have fun with it, and draft players that you like, because fantasy football is meant to be fun. And speaking of players that you like, who is your favorite NFL player? It could be right now, it could be in the future. I'm trying not to go Super Little League World Series on you guys here, but who is your favorite NFL player? Throw it in your comments section below. I'll tell you mine if you guys hit me up at Twitter at Mizzen+Main365. I've already got 2 sips in and I'm already stumbling over my words, fellas. So maybe not the best thing going forward. Shout out though, this is a good beer. Fantastic voyage, and I hope that this entire season, guys, is an awesome voyage with you. You guys, please check out my show, Fantasy Football AF, on YouTube. Please subscribe. I would definitely appreciate that. And if you have any questions whatsoever, hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Instagram at Mizzen+Main365.